looking for three. She hits it, and we are tied.
Cherry's three.
It's good.
Johnny Walker matching up against the control. His shot. Bruce Moore, they score. They tie the game up 2-2.
Some drives out for Robbie Ryan. Her three right on the money. This is Taya Hansen for three. Other side of the rim with a pretty reverse.
Wow.
5 seconds to go. Find Hawk. Hawk spins. It rolls off. And Arizona State wins it. Edward pulls off. And buries the front.
Daniels takes the shot for Derby.
What is up, all? Happy Friday here on Pitchfork Lunch. Yes, I am Michael Caratanudo at Diablo00. You see, I got the Casual Friday going on, the Pats Run shirts from the 20th edition, which was this past year. But hey, man, glad you're here on a Friday. It has been an interesting Friday, to say the least, so far. As an early morning, as had a little postseason action going on with beach volleyball and Gulf Shores, but first things first, yes, I am Michael Caratanudo at Diablo00 on X, artist formerly known as the Twitter, as you guys all know. You can see the show live there every day. My IG, michael.caratanudo.5. Yes, there. And the YouTube channel. I know you guys that are here every day watching live. Hey, you should still subscribe to my YouTube channel. It'd be phenomenal. But go to YouTube. And then, go to YouTube and you will go to my channel. So it's at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Cat, 005 at MVC005 on YouTube. And kids, subscribe. Because I will tell you this. If you missed any interviews yesterday, I mean, it was like the a first here on Pitchfork Lunch, but not only we didn't have not only one coach, but two head coaches, both having making postseason runs. Obviously, Matt Thurman, the Pac-12 Men's Golf Coach of the Year, joining me after it got announced. First to talk to him here on Pitchfork Lunch. Come on, Pitchfork Lunchers. And then Kristen Rohr, from women's beach volleyball, who kicked off today in Gulf Shores. We'll get to that in a minute. If those of you that were headed to work or weren't up at 8 a.m. local time when they threw up first serves there, I will have that for you. But Kristen Rohr yesterday joining me right after Coach Thurman. Kristen Rohr also, and I know I mentioned it before she came on, but Pac-12 Coach of the Year, her first year as the women's volleyball head coach or beach volleyball head coach. Yes, but she had, like I said, the success at Grand Canyon. So absolute mojo here on Pitchfork Lunch, but to have not one, but two Pac-12 Coaches of the Year on, and three altogether with JJ Van Niel from the fall. So, hey, absolutely awesome. Couldn't be more happy for that. If you missed it, though, that's why you go to YouTube and you go to M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Cat 005 at MVC005 on YouTube. And you can hear from Coach Thurman and talking about his team, and Wen Yi Ding, who, freshman of the year and also Pac-12 player of the year, as they head to Rancho Santa Fe to get set for regionals. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. Baseball, obviously getting set for their home series against Washington. Big three matchups. They've won 2 in a row now. Because they dropped that last one to SC. Yeah, so they've won 2 in a row, 2 games over 500, and have a chance for 5 in a row. And yes, if these bats stay awake like they have, oh man, absolutely awesome there. So they are getting ready for UW. Women's softball, the last homestand of this season, and actually the last ball conference series, but the last regular season series, and it's at Club Farrington. Get on out there this weekend as they are taking on UCLA, who just, of course, happens to be weird in the top 10, but number 7 in the country for that. So that is going on at Club Farrington. Also, Lacrosse got that first round win against Oregon in the Pac-12s as they advanced and had to take on Stanford. And in the semifinals. And, man, they played some insane defense. And they fell, going in and the last part of the season, Coach Van Thoff talked about, and you heard her say it after senior day, but it was one of those things in seeing this team. It's one of those things where, defensively and in goalie, you're getting sound play, but what up, Low Tone? You're getting sound play, and they went into the tournament knowing that, they're going to see teams that they lost to, and they battled back. Well, they battled, and then they beat Oregon, but taking on number 1 Stanford, and they fell 20-15. People say, well, they gave up 20 goals. Well, Stanford also gave up 15. So, that's against number 1 Stanford, and 15 goals being a season high allowed by the Cardinal. When I was watching yesterday, I was like, yeah, come on. But Stanford, obviously good. I know they had multiple times they had the player of the week. And I also want to say, and I'll try and dig that up before the end of the show, but I'm pretty sure they had the player of the year was from Stanford as well. And the team ended the season 9-10. And put up 3 more wins under head coach Taryn Van Thoff in her second season after 6 wins in 2023. So, hey, moving in the right direction. And second round of the Pac-12s, semifinals of the Pac-12 tournament. But in this in this tough loss to Stanford, I mean, just 20-15, like I said, Zoe Mazur etched her name atop the Pac-12 and ASU career record books after tallying 19 in today's game and totaling 167 on the season. This game totaling 167 on the season and 330 in her career. So yes, I will clarify that. But yeah, she had a heck of a season. So yeah, it's includes the Pac-12 single game record, ASU single game record, Pac-12 career draw control record. Oh, well, for draws. Sorry. and I have it typed out on my notes down on my phone, which I'm looking at. And up top, I put draws, but in the in the in my little synopsis, I didn't put draws, but yes, in draws. So yeah, so tallying 19 draws in today's 67 on the season and 330 in a career. The record's broken after yesterday's performance. So included Pac-12 single game record, ASU single game record, Pac-12 career draw control record, and Pac-12 single season record. So yeah, Zoe Mazur, you absolutely rocked it. So, but yeah, they fell in the semis to Stanford, and I'll let you know the goal scores a little bit later. Also, coming up, we have a Tempe Texan that is going to be joining us. Seen him after practice a few times, got some great sound from him. But CJ Fite, the sophomore who, again, finished his second spring ball and, man, just has had a very unbelievable and solid freshman season. And yeah, he I mean, this is crazy. This is and I'll get to this, but CJ Fite will be joining me. He was just one, and I put this in my notes. This is crazy. He was one of just 8 interior linemen in the FBS to play over 300 snaps as a freshman, and one of just 3 to do so as a true freshman. He played 200 more snaps than any other true freshman interior lineman in the Pac-12, and his 75.0 grade on run defense was second among all FBS true freshman interior linemen and 4th among true and redshirt freshmen. Yeah, absolute beast. And we'll see if maybe he adds a new title or a new position / I guess you could say job to his role with ASU. But CJ Fite, Tempe Texan, man, this kid, again, just absolutely rocking it. So he will join me at 12:30, and we will catch up with him. But I'm going to take a quick break, and when we get back, I promised you yesterday we're going to hear some sound from Kian Vu and Ethan Mendoza after sweeping UC San Diego. 19-8 was a score on Wednesday. I was out at the game, got great sound from them, and yeah, Vu hit that moonshot. It was 480 feet. And Mendoza, his first career, I mean, true freshman, but first career home run as a Sun Devil for Ethan Mendoza. And, his first home run of the year, first as a Sun Devil. And that is just awesome to see. So, and Coach, Willie Bloom, Coach Bloom was saying he's been close a few times. And so he got his first home run on the home run fiesta night, which was Wednesday night for the Devils. 5 different guys hitting dingers. and pitching again coming through. So they got UCLA this weekend, so we'll see that. But I'm going to step aside real quick. When I get back, we will hear from Kian Vu and Ethan Mendoza of Sun Devil Baseball. More coming up here on Pitchfork Lunch. All right, we are back here on Pitchfork Lunch. Yes, I am Michael Caratanudo at Diablo00 on X, the artist formerly known as the Twitter, as you know it. And you see so live here every day. My IG, michael.caratanudo.5, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Cat 005, at MVC005 on the good old YouTube. So feel free and go subscribe there as we get rolling back again. And yeah, baseball getting ready for Washington this weekend. And real quick, I will tell you where each of the teams are at in the baseball standings. So ASU 12-12 right now in the Pac-12, fought back to 500. And then they are also, and UCLA though, or Washington, pardon me, Washington is 8-13. So again, you need a series win. You need at least 2 out of 3, but all 3 would be absolutely phenomenal. So that is where we are with that. But I promise you, Kian Vu and Ethan Mendoza. So without further ado, here are the home run duo from the other night, Wednesday night after their victory against UC San Diego. And look, Kian Vu, I mentioned it yesterday. He loves being on this heater, this offense, when he's hitting, but let's just say it's tough to describe. But without further ado, here is Kian Vu and Ethan Mendoza.
So, do you know where you were on the batting average leaderboard entering today?
Yeah, I did take a peek at it actually. It's pretty cool.
What's it like now that you're an everyday guy. You've earned your way to this spot. Can you just reflect on how this season has been, and just kind of staying steady with what you bring in the day to day to now have this kind of success consistently?
It feels good, obviously. Yeah, like I just want to win, really. So like it feels good that I can be in there every day. Like we all love playing baseball, so it's nice to get that opportunity to play every day. But at the end of the day, I just want to win. So whatever spot that I'm in is the spot that I'm going to try to make the most of.
You see this kind of surge coming, or before the season, where your expectations were and where you are actually right now?
I mean, I didn't. These weren't my expectations. I've definitely exceeded my expectations, I guess. But I think I'm just trying to have quality at bats, I guess, and I think that the attitude I've had is kind of what set me up for the results that I'm getting, I guess. And so I think that, yeah, I mean, this could have happened to anyone. I think anyone. I don't even know. I don't know how to put it into words, but like, feels great. Like it's a crazy feeling, and it's kind of surreal. So I think I'm just trying to like stay focused and not let myself get wrapped up in those numbers, I guess.
Not sure if you saw, Kian, but that grand slam went 480 feet. Have
Yeah,
you ever hit
it.
a ball that far in your
No,
life?
I've never hit a ball that far in my life.
Did you feel it off the bat? Like, did you know, I just hit this to freaking Mars or something?
It's one of those that like you swing and it doesn't really like, you don't feel it really, because it's just that squared up, I guess, and it's cool. It's cool. I don't even know like how to really process all this. It's like I hope I could just keep it going. Yeah.
I think for both of you, Willie's talked a lot about trying to get you guys to think less at the plate and just go up there and swing it. He's done a lot of hit and runs recently. Is that something that you especially felt tonight of, especially in the later stages of that game, just going up and swinging the bat as hard as you can and trying to make contact?
Yeah, I feel like that's like so far been our games for the past like 2 weeks. I feel like most of us have gone out there with a plan to attack the fastball, and that goes back to like Goffey in the cages, just like every day, just working with us, and it just keeps showing out in the game. So we're gonna keep that going.
I think it's maybe a return of, we heard in the very beginning of the season about you take batting practice and you're not allowed to take a pitch. You think that's kind of the mentality again with this team?
Yeah, I think we're all in attack mode right now, and we just need to keep it up until something else happens, and then we'll adjust from there and keep going with the way we're going right now.
Did you get that ball back, Ethan?
I've not got the ball back. I think it went into their bullpen, so they might have snagged it. So I know. I wish I would have got it though. Yeah.
Ian, 7 homers in your last 11 games. Is there anything changed as far as your power, or is that just a bat speed thing that you've been working on that's increased your exit velocity?
Not really. I've always had that power. I just decided to keep it within. I'm just kidding. I don't know. I think Muni's obviously a great place to hit. It's dry, the ball flies, so that probably has something to do with it. I think if anyone's trying to just hit the ball hard, they're gonna run into a couple, and so that's what the last 7 homers, I guess, have probably just come from, just trying to get the ball in the air, and then the wind's been crazy too recently, so that's probably played a huge factor.
How do you think pitchers are adjusting to you, and to you, Ethan? You guys are both hitting well lately. How do you think guys are adjusting to you guys during your hot streaks?
I mean, Goffey probably says it best. Like, we're supposed to be a team that the other team is scared to throw a fastball to, and I think that's us right now. Is that most people, like, for example, like this game, like, we're scoring a bunch of runs, and most of the hits aren't fastballs, and that just like proves like the work we've been putting into the cages.
Ian, was any of your family in attendance this weekend? I know you guys playing UCSD. Any connections to that team or anything like that?
No, I know a couple kids over there, but no, my family will be out here this weekend.
Before your freshman year, the way your swing was then and the way your swing is now, are there any material changes that you underwent in how your swing is from then till now, or is it mostly the same?
I think I mostly have just been working on my timing and getting ready a little earlier. I will say in high school I did try to lift the ball a little more, and then Goffey and Bloomy's approach to it is kind of like trying to backspin it low liners. So I think those two are the biggest changes that I've implemented into my swing, and it's definitely, I've seen a lot of progress in that. So definitely earlier, being more on time, and then backspinning the ball hard on the ground is kind of what the two things that stick out to me and the differences in my swing.
You've been working with a defensive specialist like Steven. How has that dynamic been, and sort of some tips you've been able to gain from him?
Yeah, I mean, it's great. I mean, he knows a lot about like what he's doing. Obviously, you can see in the field, like he knows what he's talking about, and like he's helped me a lot, just like knowing which balls to charge, which ones to not, and like the timing of the game is like definitely different from high school. And he's helped me like like tell me how like to adjust myself in the game.
And on a night like, obviously with the pitching and hitting, I know Willie's been talking a lot about that all year, but when they're getting you guys back to the plate that fast, how much of an advantage you feel it is?
Can you say that again?
Pitching, and they're just ripping through. Or go ahead.
Yeah, so I mean the second inning that Cole pitched, that was like 7-8 pitches. I mean, that's like a game changer. Like you're hitting, you want to get at like back to hitting. Like that's like can help us like in the future just win a bunch of ball games. Like if their pitching just keeps out there and just attacks them and lets our defense work, like we will win a lot of ball games.
And there you see it, Kian Vu and Ethan Mendoza. As again, it was a home run fiesta Wednesday night. 5 different guys, a grand slam for Vu that went 480 feet, which is insane. But you heard Mendoza right there talking about not getting his first home run back, which is kind of a bummer. But yeah, the bats are hot, the bats are awake. So get on out to Muni starting tonight as they take on UW, a team that they need to sweep. They need to keep climbing the Pac-12 standings, and this offense is just, dare I say, in fuego. But we're going to step aside real quick. When I get back, like I told you, the Tempe Texan, and I gotta credit his dad for that. I kid around with him at practice, but he may have not created it, but his dad gets credit for that. The Tempe Texan, CJ Fite, will be joining us here on Pitchfork Lunch. So we'll step aside real quick and have CJ right on the other side.
Go! Pitch that penny. Go! Get out there. Roll out.
And you see it right there. The man putting in the work. Definitely don't want to see him in pads doing that. Wouldn't want to have to take him on out of pads, but he has had a phenomenal start here at ASU so far. And joining me here on Pitchfork Lunch, oh, look at that. We're matching up today, CJ, like the PT42. CJ Fite joining me.
Yes.
Man, I appreciate you jumping on like this, man.
Yes, sir. No problem. Appreciate you having me.
All right, so I know I kid around with you, but your dad got the Tempe Texan thing going, and so I give him full creative credit for that. But you've helped. There's been a few more guys from Texas since you came here. Have you been an integral part of that, right?
Yes, there's a lot of Texas kids on the team now. When you walk around the locker room, you see a lot of Texas on the nameplate. It's good to see. I love to see it.
Now, Coach Dillingham, I mean, always talks competitive, and I know from Well, depending on what part of Texas you're from, there's probably always a little debate on whose football's better, whose barbecue's better. So, are you winning that debate with the other guys from different spots in Texas, CJ?
I think most of the Dallas area usually gets most of the wins in that area, but you can't slack on East Texas though. East Texas has some good food and some good players as well though.
Oh, absolutely. And so this is your second spring practice, and I mentioned it off the top of the show, and I've talked about it. Just in general throughout the years, but it became more prevalent for guys to graduate, players to graduate high school early, get enrolled, and then participate in that spring ball to kind of get a head start. Some people have the thing like, man, you work so hard, not that you're still not going to train, but, enjoy the last little part of high school, enjoy your graduation, then come out. But how big was that for you just to get on campus? And yeah, the football side, I understand, but just getting used to going to class, learning the campus, learning Tempe. How big was that for you to get out early and be in spring ball last year?
It was a huge head start. I'm glad I didn't have to worry about my first time being in college, my first time figuring everything out in the fall when the season started. So to be able to get a head start on the freshmen coming in and get a head start on school in general in the spring, it really helped me go into my fall. Just so I was able to focus more on the season and not as much as trying to figure out how to deal with college.
Right. Which, when you think about it, like I said, I see both sides when people are like, man, you work so hard, keep training, but enjoy high school. But to get, like you said, the first time, you don't want to have a deer in headlights look, but I just remember my first time walking on campus at ASU when classes started, I was like, holy wow. It's crazy. And you get the workload and everything.
There's a lot of people on campus. So it's way different from my high school. I had I think 100 something people in my graduating class.
That's what I was just look at that, man. You got a future in broadcasting. I was going to say, CJ, because was your deer in headlights and I thought it was about 200, but I was going to say, so 100, 200 people in your graduating class, and you step on a campus with a couple, over 40, 50,000 people. That's got to be a little intimidating.
It was different for sure, way different. I had to get used to it, but I'm not usually on campus too much anymore. But when I was, it was a lot. It was a lot going on. It was chaotic for sure.
Yeah, no, it is. Fun, obviously, but yes, the challenge. When you look at, okay, so obviously last year, you're working with Coach Amy, takes over defensive line. Now he has more of a consulting role, but Coach comes in, and man, it just seems like, I've heard you guys talk about it, but man, what is Coach done that you feel that, man, your game's grown just even more with just one spring with them?
I think he just added on to what Coach Amy was telling us last season. Coach Amy did a great job of coaching us last season. And then when Coach Reynolds comes in, he just drops little gems that elevate your game to the next level. It's like you're here and then you just get a little tad bit more that elevates that other people don't have. So with him, he just gives you gems that they're pretty much hidden gems that he gives you. But when you think about it, it's like, okay, that makes sense. So it's just things like that. And you learn so much from him, and it's big just to have him on the staff and learn from him.
Yeah, because I meant to say Coach Reynolds. I was just like, yeah, because in watching him just work with you guys and from afar, it's like I always say, and it sounds contradictory, but to me it always made sense. Quiet yellers, they don't have to say things kind of loud, but the way that if they say something and maybe you have it, hey, do it this way, still don't do it. It's just kind of that quiet, that tone. It's like, are they yelling at me or what? But he just to me has that demeanor that's awesome, and obviously it benefits you guys as a D line.
Yes, sir. He's real chill. He said he doesn't always want to have to yell and be the bad cop, but he does if he needs to. But at the same time, most of the time he's just mellow, just chill, and then he's more of a guy that sits back and say sick him, and I like a coach stuff.
Right. I was going to say, you got Coach Regal. I've known Coach Regal for years. You got Coach Regal to yell at you guys if something's not going smooth, right?
Yes, sir. Coach Regal, that's my guy. He's funny.
Speaking of Coach Regal, so and we saw it during spring ball, obviously the main event, the battles, and you beat Leaf in catch catching a punt, which as we all know, and I know you and Leaf never said it was easy because when you watch the fans try it out at the spring game, I think it's unfair. And I get it. They're protecting the fans' head, but I think it's really unfair. And I said this to Coach Regal, CJ, that they make him wear a helmet. I'm like, man, getting used to adjusting. But I digress to you got under that ball. You secured it. I mean, are you talking to Coach Regal since he's your guy a little more, saying, Coach, not every time, but I'll be the secret weapon punt returner?
Didn't he throw me back there? I mean, when they first told me I had to catch a punt, I was a little nervous at first. I've never done before. So I saw Leaf getting some practice in before practice. So I was trying to go in there and sneak in with them. Then right when I got over there, they stopped. So I had to figure something out myself. So when I figured it out, it ended up working out.
Yeah, I mean, look, you got under the ball, you approached it, hands, and you I was like, man, not only is he beating up people on the defensive line, now he's going to return punch and roll people over that way. But you know, I mean, last year Coach Dillingham said, yeah, I'm young, I better have this energy, but just and I've talked to, I mean, I know I mentioned it to you earlier in spring, but even other players, how big was it, when obviously the season last year didn't go the way you guys wanted it to go, and yeah, you were, knock on wood, hit by the injury bug, but when you guys practice with what you could do, the coaches every day, to me, were bringing it, and they had that energy keeping you guys up. When you're going through a season like that, which is no fun for anybody, but how big is it for you as a player to see the coaches and you guys as a team, but just see the coaches bring it, and they're bringing their best, expecting you, even though, yeah, the record's not the best, but hey, let's get this. Let's bring it every day. How big was that for you guys as a group?
Oh, it was big. It just shows the competitive nature of the culture of just our team and how ASU football should be. No matter how the season's going, you shouldn't just give up and just lay down and you change as a team, as the culture changes. It shouldn't be like that anyway. So to see that, it was good to see just nobody laid down and everybody was just fulfilling the culture and just showing everybody how it's supposed to go, even if it's not going well.
So. Yeah, and look, I mean, football is a lot of sports. Yeah, you have to practice more, but you literally practice more than you get to go out and beat up on somebody else. So, like you said, to have that and go forward is awesome. Now, off the top of the show, I read this, and I know you saw this, but you were just one of 8 interior linemen last year in the FBS to play over 300 snaps as a freshman, and one of 3 to do so as a true freshman. So, after you coming in the spring, like you said, getting used to the academic stuff, campus, all that stuff. But the more success you're having and going up against, obviously, the speed of the game, as we all know, changes from high school to college to pro. But as you got more into the system and with what Coach Ward wants to do and the guys you had playing outside of you, were you almost kind of shocked when you saw how many snaps you played at such a high level?
At first, yes, but then at the same time, I'm in the moment, so you can't just sit and think about it. You just have to go with it and keep improving. So at first, it was a shock. It was surreal. It didn't feel real at first. It's just because I wasn't expecting to come in and do too much. I was just expecting in the spring to learn from the vets and just continue to grow as a football player, and to be able to get as much burn as I did. It was a blessing for sure.
All right, so I know I've talked to Clayton Smith and other teammates. So has he got you interested in snakes, and would you go hunting for snakes with Clayton?
Not at all. Not at all. He can have that. Yeah, I'm not messing with snakes. I don't mess with snakes at all. Never have, never will. So he can keep this.
CJ, you say that, and I laugh too, because a lot of people have had that reaction. I heard last year he made Troy jump because he answered the door when Troy came over with one around his neck, and Troy used that speed that he has and went the other way.
Yeah, that's why I haven't made it to his place yet. I'm not going over there with those snakes there.
See, you heard the stories and you're like, yeah, man, you and I are cool. You can come over and hang with me. Don't bring a snake, and we're all good to go, right?
I had 2 of my roommates that went over there one time. They had sent some videos. So that was my first time actually seeing the snakes in the house. I didn't know he had them in the house, but I was like, yeah. No.
Yeah, I laugh because when I was in, when we were, elementary school way back when, they have those, little carnivals, and they had it was I want to say it was like a white boa, and you could go in and the people were handling it, but they'd put it on your shoulder. And my mom, my dad is like, he went and looked at it, but my mom's terrified. She's like, I'm not going within 50 feet of that room. But there's a picture of me as a kid, and I got like they're holding it, but it's on my shoulder. But you feel it moving, CJ. I'm with you. Your heart, it's like, yeah, don't let your heart beat too fast because this thing will come after you.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing it.
What speaking of the D line, and obviously playing next to somebody like Clayton, I know Prince is back, but the depth you guys added, and I mean the talent as well. I mean, from a D line perspective, I always got to think that yes, you want to be on the field, but for high levels of performance, less is more. The guys that you've brought in depth wise, how do you think they fit in so far this spring, and where can this D line unit go, CJ?
Oh, everybody's gels great. We all just go in as one. We all play like we've been playing for a long time. So the chemistry is there for sure. So this D line can go as far as we want to go with this. We always say the team goes as we go, and coach talks about who you are is what you put on tape. So if you're in there 50, 60 plays, you're not always gonna put the best things on tape. So having that depth and the people you can trust behind you or in front of you, it's big. So you can put those good things on tape, and you're not wasting reps pretty much and throwing those bad plays out there.
Right, and I know Coach Ward, and you've heard it probably a million more times than I have, but as though it was last year, always saying do your 111th. And I say that to you because the secondary, I mean, getting a guy like Xavier Alford, who practiced all last year and unfortunately couldn't play back, but the depth, and you have a guy like Shamari, and Montana's back from injury, and Keith Abney, and the guys you've added. But with what the secondary can do, how exciting is that for you guys as a D line? I mean, I know Coach always says, you don't want to leave them having to cover guys for too long, but with as good as they've been, how exciting is that for you guys as a defensive line?
Oh, it's big just because you have a good D line, good secondary, and we have good linebackers as well. So it's just all around just solid defense. So we're gonna get sacks just from rushing and passing. We're also gonna get coverage sacks just from our secondary and our linebackers being able to cover. So it's big as more sacks and more yards backwards, so more plays to be made for offense, more plays to be made for defense.
Yeah, I was gonna say you say sacks, and we definitely know you can get in that backfield. Now I got to ask you this one too, kind of a little bit lighter one. You got a pretty big fan club, because there are some days you were doing interviews after spring, and speaking of Leaf, I mean, he's leading the CJ Fite fan club from far away, saying how much you're the best and they love you. I mean, that's got to be pretty good to have a fan club like that in the locker room.
Yeah, I think Leaf leads every fan club. Leaf's funny. He just walks around the fan club of everybody pretty much.
That's all. Yeah, no, that's awesome. What Oh no, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say when Jester posted his post on Instagram not too long ago, I think it was yesterday. Lee was in the comments. He had tagged me in it talking about doing a meet and greet for him. He's hilarious.
And I think as a center, and to play O and D line, because I used to actually years back kid around with Coach Regal when he was coaching at Chaparral here. Like the higher levels you go, I always say you got to have you have to be smart, but you got to have a few screws loose to want to, literally just like punch into a guy, collide with a big human being every time to try and get the best of them. People say, and I always cracked up when people would say, oh, the skill positions like backs and receivers, I go, you don't think it's a skill to get beat on all game and win that battle? I go, I was never big enough, CJ. I didn't have the frame and I played outside, but I mean, I lined up at D end a few times. I thought it was pretty cool until I got, just chucked about 15 yards by some tackle.
Yeah, it's no fun.
But when you look at obviously going up like to Camp T last year, obviously that was your first experience. And, when Coach talks about, team bonding, obviously, you're filming some stuff, but no cell phones, getting to know the team. What was that experience like for you?
I actually enjoyed Camp T. Going into it, I was kind of iffy, like I don't know how this is going to be, but going to Camp T was fun for sure. It felt for a little bit, it kind of felt like back home just for all the trees. So there's a whole bunch. There's like woods, so it's like I was back hunting with my dad. So it was fun for sure, and then the weather was great. Coming from the heat of Arizona in the summer and going down there. It was about 60, 70. It felt great. Then the football, it felt great. Just playing a lot of football, playing, and then you do things like most time during the fall camp. After you get done practice and all the meetings and stuff, you don't really feel like doing anything. So to have the camp at Camp T, you had time to bond with the teammates, and you actually enjoyed doing the things because it wasn't like you just go over there, sit and play the game. You couldn't play the game, so you had to figure out other things to do, whether it's playing spike ball on the turf or going up the mountain or going to the river. It was just a whole bunch of things you could do to bond with the team, and for sure.
No, yeah, and that's awesome. I mean, I remember, being younger, getting to go up there every year, and the weather, like you're right, is the first thing because those first few ones down here, it's like, oh, it's still summer in Arizona. Gotta love it. But let me ask you this: when you obviously you're looking at schools in ASU, but how much does that play into? Yes, you want the best fit for you, but playing somewhere that, I mean, yeah, you can practice a lot. You don't have to worry about getting rained out of practice or having to move it indoors, this and that. But people always say the heat, you got to come and check it out. But was the heat really it wasn't too big of an obstacle for you, was it?
I wouldn't say it was. I'll say this: when I first got the offer, it was with the old staff, but I was telling my dad, I was like, I'm not going out there. It's too hot. I'm like, I've heard about Arizona. I'm not doing that. But I ended up coming on my visit in the summer. I think it was like the peak. It was on the news. It was like setting records for the heat and stuff. So uh, I mean, I still ended up choosing Arizona State, so it wasn't too bad. But no, he's not too bad. I mean, obviously coming from Texas, it's hot. It's just humid. So I'd rather be here than Texas for sure. Just with the humidity, it was ridiculous. Like this past year, it was 95 degrees, but it felt like 116. That's my dad had sent me a picture, so I was like, yeah, this is way better for sure.
Yeah, I love the fact getting to meet your dad because we would I would post things and he would see something of you and he'd shot me a message, and when we talked at one of the games, I'm like, where are you sitting? I'll come over if that's okay. We were chatting. I'm like, man, your son's keeping you busy. I mean, because your brother's playing in Louisiana, you're here in Arizona, so I mean that's busy building up some frequent flyer miles.
Yeah, it's a lot of miles going through, whether it's on a car or a plane. There's just a lot of miles being racked up.
That's awesome. All right, so who is? I gotta ask you this: who's the biggest? Who would you say is the biggest and maybe best prankster on the team?
Prankster, probably Leaf.
Okay.
Leafs. He always comes up with these games, and I'm sure he didn't come up with it, but he got us playing left hand Johnny. So pretty much, if I walk around, or if anybody walks around with something in their left hand, you yell your left hand Johnny, and then you take it from him. So it's things like that, or like you'll just having a regular conversation. He'll be like, "What?" And he's like, "Whatever." It's like little things like that where when it builds up, it's like, bro, come on, man. I'm just trying to have a real conversation. But when you look back at it, it's actually funny. It's like it's an everyday thing. So now I have to be careful when I'm talking to Leaf or just walking around Leaf because you never know with him.
And of course, anytime you're doing a big interview, we know who's going to crash the party with like the CJ Fite fan club signing back too.
Yeah, I have his helmet on his shoulder as a camera, just like so. It's always something with Leaf.
Oh, you guys have jumped in on each other's interviews, but I love it when guys jump in behind us and start asking questions, and it is entertaining. I'll get you out of here on this. Obviously, last year was this past season. I mean, this is now the last year of the Pac-12 as we know it. The wound's still open for me. Frustrated in that, a lot of the regional rivalries and stuff, but the excitement of going to new stadiums, you obviously getting to go to Texas a few times, and obviously some of the Big 12 venues. You see that, I mean, the schedule's obviously out. Yes, I do know it's one at a time, as it should be. But when you see the schedule and just kind of going to some of those other venues, what are your thoughts?
It's going to be different for sure, especially coming in last year. I mean, it was barely any away games, but the ones we did have, I enjoyed them for sure. With the Washington, UCLA games, Utah, Cal, those were all. I've never been pretty much anywhere on the West Coast. Yeah, I've never been over here at all. So the only place I've been is yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I think I've been to Oregon once, but that's about it. I'm not out too much. I never liked to fly, so I've got to get used to that. I'm not a big flyer. I still be able to fly. That's gonna be different, and but it's gonna be big for sure. I've always wanted to like be in like South football, like just being up with those people behind you yelling at you. Some people might throw stuff at you, just things like that. I've always loved like being in a hostile environment playing. So it's gonna be big for sure to go to those away games and experience that.
Yeah, I know, because they put out on the football on the homepage, they put out the that there's like 19,000 alums, ASU alums in Texas, and obviously getting people excited about the Devils coming there. So you as a punt returner and your fellow defensive line mate, I mean Clayton Smith as a wide receiver, because in the main events, man, he ran some pretty good patterns, had some sick catches.
Yeah, some people don't know, but he was recruited at wide receiver in high school too. If you look at his highlight tape, I think like the first 2-3 plays is him at receiver just to go out and catch a touchdown. So he was highly recruited at receiver too.
Well, I mean, obviously Coach Arroyo, Coach Dillingham are creative enough, but CJ, I'll give you this idea. You should put the honey in their ear on the goal line. Just go line Clayton up against some, true freshman corner and have this huge mammoth come out there. Because look, I know as competitors, we're not supposed to be intimidated, but sometimes you line up against somebody and you're like, what the hell am I going to do? I'm not saying you've had that feeling, but I'm just saying you and Clayton as a receiver, you as a punt returner. I mean, I like that if it happens. But I like you guys sacking quarterbacks first.
Yes, for sure. I've thrown it in there a little bit about a little goal line package. That's about it. But I might throw in about the punt return too.
Hey, I'm just saying, I would definitely, I'd be second in line behind Lee for the fan club of that one too, CJ. So, hey man, look, the original the Tempe Texan right here, CJ Fite. Thanks so much for jumping in. Obviously have a good rest of a little bit of summer break, hanging out, and then I look forward to seeing you in fall camp.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you.
That is CJ Fite. Yes, soon to be a punt returner too. Well, if I had my way, but yeah, they're going to use him, his skills and his talents. So awesome to get him in here. Yeah, talk a little football, but it's and a PT 42 shirt. Absolutely love that. So and we matched today. We didn't even coordinate that, but in Pat's run and saw him out there. So I'm going to take a quick break. When we get back, I'll wrap up volleyball. Oh, it was a tough one against Cal Poly today, but their first ever tournament appearance. So I'm going to step aside and we'll talk a little volleyball and lacrosse on the other side. All right, we are back here on Pitchfork Lunch. I am Michael Caratino at Diablo00 on X Artist, formerly known as Twitter. As you can check me out live here every day, Monday through Friday, 12 to 1. And again, big ups to CJ Fite for coming on again. Played all those snaps. I talked about it off top of the show. Just balled out. Was a beast last year. And we know that. And, coming in second year, and now, like I said, Coach Reynolds, the defensive line coach, comes in. The amount of experience Coach Reynolds has, too, again, as Coach Dillingham has talked about that. A guy that's got 25 years of coaching experience on the both, at the NFL and Power 5, former Power 5 levels, but spent last season a defensive line coach at Michigan State before he previously spent 7 seasons in the same position at Stanford. I was going to say he was in the Pac-12. Coached on multiple championship teams, including a Super Bowl ring with the Colts, and has worked with numerous All-Americans, NFL draft picks, and All-Pro players, Dwight Freeney being one of them. But yeah, just a wealth of experience for CJ and the rest of the D-line group to work with that. But yeah, CJ, again, that fun personality, but on the field, man, just a beast. So glad we could get him on the show. If you missed it, go to the YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and Emmons and Michael, V's and Victory, C's and Cat 005 at MVC 005 on the good old YouTube. Yeah, so you could do that and subscribe, and you won't miss out on anything. So that is the awesome part. And we do have. So I want to show you the volleyball pairings from today. I want to show it to you. Unfortunately, well, I will tell them to you. So the number ones, Ava Williamson and Daniela Kessinger, they were on the one court, and then they took on Cal Poly's Connor and Martinez, and the first set, it was 21-18. They fell in the first set 21-18, and then they dropped the second set. I want to say it was 21. But then, right. So that was the ones. You can see the ones, and then the twos was Anya Pemberton and Arden Bessiker were the twos. The threes were Taryn Ames and Lexi Sweeney. The fours was Kate Fitzgerald and Ava Kurnchik. And the fives was Ava Howdy and Adriana Nieves Papaleo. And so both Fitzgerald and Kurnchuk and Howdy and Nieves Papaleo won their first sets. But the Devils ended up falling 3-0 because the 4s and 5s won their first set, and then the 1s, 2s, and 3s had dropped it. And I'm going to give you all the scores real quick. But yeah, so they did lose 3-0. To Cal Poly, who is all time is now, I think, 5-0 again. And not that they play all the time, but on the beach they are now 5-0. Against ASU. But yeah, they're now 5-0 against ASU. But I mean, just so the winners today so far, by the way, real quick. USC took care of North Florida 3-0. LMU beat Hawaii 3-1, and then Cal Poly beat ASU 3-0. Florida State knocked out Washington 3-1, and UCLA just won, or they won 3-0. They won 3-0 in their opening match against Texas A&M Corpus Christi. And now Long Beach State is taking on Cal as we speak. And then LSU and TCU will wrap the first day up. But yeah, so far SC and UCLA advanced, ASU and Washington are out, and then Cal trying to advance as they take on Long Beach State. So yes, but ASU, I mean, yeah, Cal Poly took. Let's see if I'll give you the individual court scores is the only thing I was looking for, which I watched up and out at 8 a.m., baby. Actually about 8:05, but yeah, so Kensinger and Williamson, they fell 21-18 and 21-19. And then Pemberton and Bessicker fell 21-14, 21-10. And then Taryn Ames and Lexi Sweeney was 22-20 in the first. And there was just, again, that's just how close it is. And then 21-16 in the second. And then Kate Fitzgerald and Ava Kurinchuk, they won the first set 21-16 and then dropped the second set 21-9. And this is the fours. And then they were trailing 6-3 when it got called. And then Adriana Nieves Papaleo and Ava Howdy, they won their first set 21-15. They dropped the second 21-11, but then when the third set was won, they were actually up 1-0. So, man, it would have been interesting if, and like I said, they were going back and forth, but Kurchuk and Karanchik and Fitzgerald were a little bit back and forth in that first set. Or no, they took the first set, but in the second set, they were taking on Logan Walter and Piper Nace. And they won 21-16, had control of that first set. And then 21-9 in the second, though. And again, you look at that, you're able to take that. And, but inevitably, that's how it was decided. But look, hats off, man. Kristen Rohr and this Beach program, like her first season, again, the most victories against ranked teams, 11. Yeah, that obviously does not suck. But yeah, I mean, the most victories against ranked teams, the best start to a season ever, 6-0, tied for the most, the longest win streak in program history. And man, they got, again, some youngsters, and obviously, like I said, Ken Sinker and Williamson, second team All-Americans this year. You look forward, and man, it's very exciting. And Coach Rohr just gets that out of her team, and like the adjustments, talked about that, with what she saw in practice and pairings. That's why I asked her, because it's one of those things. And indoor, obviously, yes, you want to get the 6 on the court working in in unison, but beach 2-on-2, and that's why she said, sometimes on paper it looks great, other times you're like, wait, why is this not, how could this not work? And then practice, 2 people be on the court together, and it's like, wait, how is this working? But as a coach and seeing that and her experience and everything, so very stoked for this the program going forward. And we will see. Cal did advance 3-1. So it's an all Pac-12 quarterfinal. Which I was hoping we get an all Pac-12 quarterfinal and then an all Pac-12 shot at a semifinal up top. But it is an all Pac-12 quarterfinal, so one Pac-12 team guaranteed the semis. Number 2, UCLA taking on number 7, Cal. So the next matchup will be Stanford. I was like, wait, why is I'm missing a team? So we still do have a chance. Well, we have a chance at an all Pac-12. Well, we have a Pac-12, all Pac-12 quarter on bottom, and then we have a chance for an all Pac-12 semi. So next up, Stanford will be taking on Georgia State. If you guys are curious, again, it's on ESPNU. You can check it out after I wrap up here. As for, like I said, want a huge shout out to Taryn Van Thoff and Lacrosse. They beat Oregon. But yeah, they lost 20-15 to Stanford, who is the number 1 seed. So it looks like Colorado actually will be taking on Stanford. So Colorado and Stanford, pardon me, will face off. So and I shall give you the scores to those. So Stanford beat ASU 20-15. So Stanford beat Cal, rivalry game there to open up. Oh no, that's not the Pac-12 tournament. Stanford beat Cal in the last game 15-8. So ASU beat Oregon first day 19-12, right? Colorado beat UC Davis 13-10. Second day, USC was the number 2 seed, by the way. Stanford was number 1, but Stanford won 20-15. And then ASU, not that they would have scored 15 against either one of those teams, but they may have. And if they were in that part of the bracket, they would have been playing Stanford in the championship game now. But, 20-15, again, absolutely phenomenal game. And then Colorado beat USC 12-9. So they do have today off. Like I told you, I mentioned that in the beginning of the tournament. That it was Wednesday, Thursday, and then teams had Friday off, and then you have a championship game on Saturday. So that part is absolutely awesome. And then in that Stanford game, real quick, again, want to give it because, again, 15 goals. I mean, it was 4-3 Stanford after 1. It was 10-6 Stanford at halftime. Then it was 14-9 at the end of the third. I mean, ASU got 3 in the first, 3 in the third, 3 in the second, 3 in the third. Then, I mean, you talk about both teams finally maybe solving the defense. Both teams got 6 goals in the fourth quarter. So 20-15 is the final. You look at ASU goal scorers. Shannon Ure scored the first goal of the game for ASU. Well, they're already down 2-0. But then Olivia Oldno had a goal. Katie Haley had, her first, and then she has scored a second. She scored with 1 second left in the first. She scored and then got her second goal at 9:12 of the second quarter. And then Mina Scott scored right after her about a minute and a half later. And then Lydia Oldno got her second goal of the game. And then Shannon Ure got her second in the third. And then Lydia Oldno had a hat trick right there. And Annie Haley, so that was her second, right? Oh, no. It's Katie Haley. So Annie got a goal in the fourth, and then Shannon Ure got another goal. And then the last 3 goals of the game were scored by ASU. So they were down 20-12. And at 135, because Jordan K scored. Then at 119, Lindsey Dean scored. And then at 24 seconds, Tegan Eng scored. And then at 11 seconds, Zoe Mazur scored. So, that is 3 goals in a minute and 8 seconds. John Wooden, I think it was John Wooden had that quote. It was either John Wooden or Vince Lombardi, but we didn't lose. We just ran out of time. And that was one of those things right there. But 20-15, again, hats off to this team. Again, getting 9 wins, 3 more than last year, pushing Stanford to the brink. Most goals Stanford has given up all season long, and the Devils did that. So, yeah, huge ups, huge, absolute forks up to Coach Van Thoff and the women's lacrosse team. But, yeah, baseball tonight, 6:30. Again, get on out there. Taking on UW also 6 o'clock. If you're headed to Farrington for softball, which is awesome, the last regular season series, last homestand of this season of Pac-12 as we know it. So get on out there and show these battling ladies some support. And, yeah, enjoy it. Also enjoy the rest of your weekend. Again, you can check out Beach Volleyball on ESPNU. I know ASU's not there. It's Pitchfork Lunch, but definitely want the Pac-12 to win the last one. Again, having 6 teams, 4 still left. Stanford just getting underway right now. So a little bit of overtime. Big shout out and forks up to CJ Fite for jumping in Pitchfork Lunch here. So glad we could catch up with the very uber talented defensive lineman for the Devils, playing the interior and just getting after it. And who knows, maybe returning punts, right? We shall see. But yeah, awesome. Big ups to CJ Fite. And then all the guests this week, again, huge shout out to Matt Thurman, the Pac-12 men's golf coach of the year, along with Wenyi Ding, who is the freshman and player of the year. But Matt Thurman, coach of the year, joined me in the Pac-12. Also, Kristen Rohr, thank you so much, coach, for jumping in here at the Pac-12 coach of the year, women's volleyball. Just so we're getting all the goods here on Pitchfork Lunch. You guys are getting all the goods. So have a great rest of your weekend. Go enjoy some ASU baseball and or softball or both. Sunday, I know softball starts at noon. Baseball starts at 1, so hang out at Farrington for a little bit. And then if you want, the game, then head over to Phoenix Muni, whatever works. But either way, get on out there and support these teams. And as they make their try and see what they can do in the postseason. So that's going to be it for me. Have a great rest of your Friday. Again, at Diablo00 on X, artist formerly known as Twitter, my IG, michael.carrotino.5. You see the show live there every day. You can also see it live on my YouTube, which is at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Cat 005, at MVC005 on YouTube. Subscribe, because you can go catch up on all the awesome interviews you've missed since we started, as we are winding down before my little break, and then we will, of course, amp it back up in the fall. So have a awesome day. Great weekend. Hit me up on X if you are going to be out at any games, notice anything, all that good stuff. Hit me up, and we will go from there. I will see you Monday. Have a great rest of your day. And you get a little extra on Friday. But yes, as always, it is a Sun Devil State. Forks up.
I'm from Arizona, Jerry. I broke Arizona records.
Rod.
I went to Arizona State.
Rod.
I'm a Sun Devil, man.
Justin Chapman rebound. Robbie Ryan for 3. He hits it, and we are tied.
Cherry's 3.
Johnny Walker, matching up against control. shot. Through score, they score. They tie the game up 2-2.
Some drives out for Robbie Ryan. Her three right on the money. This is Taya Hansen for three. Other side of the rim with a pretty reverse.
Wow.
5 seconds to go. Find Hawk. Hawk spins. It rolls off. And Arizona State wins it. Edwards pulls off. And buries the block.
Daniels takes the shot